grow to become a millionaire in all six aspects of health. That's right, to be a millionaire, it's not just about having money, it's also about your physical health, your intellectual health, social, spiritual, mental health, but of course, financial health. And today we are going to focus on your financial health and the topic of insurance. So we've got some awesome experts on insurance and how to use that to help your financial health. If you have never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something that you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. In the spirit of authenticity, to try to remove as much bias as possible, we don't talk about our tips or advice backstage. So what you're about to hear is authentically real from our guests on their own life journeys. It's going to be great. We got some smart people in the house today. Audience, if you are watching this, please, this is an interactive show. We love your comments. We love your questions, and we ask them live on air and put our guests somewhat in the hot seat, depending on your question. If you're watching this right now and you're like, man, I have so much to share, I would love to be a guest on there, please, we are dropping the link right now. Sign up, be a guest. We love hearing and sharing info and advice on any topic, so feel free to sign up and share your knowledge. Speaking of topics, if you have something that's holding you back a little bit, maybe you're not as financially sound as you wish you were, maybe your social circle's crumbling a little bit, or you're finding out some people aren't as awesome as they once were, or maybe you're just growing so hard spiritually you need some help, shoot us a topic. We would love to take our time and go find 3 awesome guests to go learn about that topic and share some advice for you. If you love what we do, growing the world, sharing the knowledge across everyone, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, send stars, however it is, whatever it is, on whatever medium you're watching. And on that note, I love giving even more. I do give one-on-one growth sessions. If you are looking to maybe get some questions answered, or at least some soundboard on your ideas, our link's being dropped right now. I'll check it out and talk to you one-on-one, have some fun for you. Woo! Huge announcement. We now have merchandise. We've got some awesome shirts for sale. We're dropping that link right now. Would love to have you in a shirt. We keep them as affordable as possible. We've got calendars we just launched and mugs. So we'll be adding to that as we go. But go check out our merch and help support Millionaires Are Made. Speaking of supporting us, I'm going to go through. We got some sponsors for this episode. First sponsor is Jesse Lewis. He brings unforgettable entertainment to his event. He's a comedian hypnotist. He's hilarious and does interactive shows. Any event that you're throwing, definitely get Jesse Lewis down there. His website's being dropped right now. Next up, we have Sarah Jones, who is buried in debt, living in a hapless marriage, making a lot of money but never knew what to do with it. She was following one of those big name programs, and it resulted in more shame, more debt, and a life that felt awful with her husband. So they sat down, they talked, they focused on how to get through the money mess and how to use their money to improve their lives and their marriage. Sarah has now become a financial coach, helping people build healthy financial foundations so they can live the life that they deserve. Our next sponsor is Craig Sarkovsky. Craig is amazing. He's a human behaviorist and a mentor, helps entrepreneurs discover their true identity, purpose, and achieve growth in business and life. Go check out his site right now. And our final sponsor for this episode is Anthony McCauley, an endurance and wellness coach who empowers runners, cyclists, and triathletes to optimize their training, build resilience, and achieve peak performance. With a passion for longevity and mental toughness, he helps athletes push limits and reach their full potential. Woohoo! And, real quick, before we bring out our first guest, I'm going to do some shout-outs to our followers. Thank you so much. If you don't follow us, you're missing out. You could be shouted out on our show. On Facebook, Victor Gomez, thank you for following. Instagram, Thoria Ben Ferhat, you're awesome. TikTok, Rich Love Naya, and on YouTube, Rashil P. You guys are all fantastic. Thank you so much. And we will now bring out our first guest. His name is Ben, and he's an insurance whiz. Ben,
hey,
tell me, who are you?
Oh, I'm just a guy who turned his passion into a paycheck, man. I like serving people. I like taking care of people.
Those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm always doing something I enjoy. Like all day, every day, I'm living life, I'm loving life. And it just so happens that part of that is helping out people with health insurance. And so I get to serve people a lot of different ways, but that's one of the funnest ways because I get to take this difficult, irritating thing that no one even wants to think about, but maybe once a
Valid.
year, and turn it into something a little bit more fun as a tool to protect yourself.
All right. So turning health insurance fun. And the funny part is he absolutely does that, as silly as it sounds.
It's true.
Then if I wanted to I'm excited to hear what your first tip is. Boil all your health insurance knowledge down into one tip, and this is what we get. Ben, if I wanted to improve my financial health with insurance, what small piece of advice would you give me?
Just use a private PPO health insurance to protect your house, your car, your business, all your assets. That's what it's for.
Repeat that and explain why.
Okay, so everybody uses health insurance for every time they get the sniffles, every time they get an earache. I mean, whatever's going on, like, oh, let's go to the doctor. We need to go get help with this thing. Insurance is not for that. It's okay that it pays for that kind of stuff, but what it's a financial tool. It's something to help protect stuff you already have from the risk of medical bankruptcy. That's still the number one cause of bankruptcy in this country is medical bankruptcy. So you want to take that risk, right, and transfer it over to the insurance company. So if something really serious happens, we're talking car accidents, surgery, an illness that you can't seem to shake, and you need a specialist to help you get through it, chronic stuff, let your insurance company cover those bills. So I help people figure out what's the best use of their time and money. And health insurance is just one of the tools that we use to protect what they already have against the threat, the risk, the very real risk of medical bankruptcy if something goes wrong and you don't have something protecting you in place already. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben. Where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
Oh, let's see. My first license in health and life was in 2009. And since then, I've had, 1,000 conversations, maybe 2,000 conversations per year. And so every year I'm learning it over and over again every day. Man, this is too expensive. I can't seem to get good health insurance to keep employees. My insurance doesn't cover anything. I've got to pay $20,000 before they even cover my first prescription. I hear stuff from everybody all day, every day, and I have been hearing this since about 2009.
2009. Is that when you got into
That's
insurance?
when I first got into insurance with Aflac, believe it or not. The duck commercials, you remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I got my start. But you hear about it everywhere you go. Almost every conversation with somebody over 40, part of that conversation is, I cannot believe how much it costs to go to the doctor these days. They're not just complaining about the price of eggs, Austin. There's
eggs and doctors, man. That's the world we live in.
And prescriptions. So I definitely counsel people all the time that you need to focus first on physical fitness, eating healthy, whole foods, fasting, things like that. That cures most of the problems you're going to the doctor for anyway, right? Even the chronic issues.
Yeah, all right.
So buy those expensive eggs so you don't have to buy quite as expensive health insurance because they're healthy for you.
Ooh. Buy those expensive eggs. Don't buy the expensive health insurance.
Right.
All right. All right, Ben, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so much. Her name is Angela. Angela, how you doing today? Who are you?
Hi, good morning, everyone, depending on where you're logging in from. I am Angela Duncan, and I am a woman on a mission to help business owners protect their biggest asset, typically is their business. And I am so excited, Austin, to be here with you today and share some incredible information.
All right. And you specialize in commercial insurance, correct?
Yes, helping business owners protect their businesses.
Right. Just like what Ben said, protect your assets with insurance. All right, Angela. If I wanted to improve my financial health with insurance, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Yes, you need to focus on building a professional team. A lot of people think, I've got my tax advisor, I've got my real estate agent, I've got my health insurance agent, I've got my business insurance agent, but we all should be talking together. Like what Benjamin was just talking about, utilizing health insurance to help protect your assets. If he and I could work together for you and communicate, and that way we
Wow.
can help build out the best platforms for you. But if we don't know what the other professional on your team is doing, then you might have gaps that you don't know about and that I don't know about. But make an introduction, have us all together on an email or perhaps a Zoom call. This would be incredible, not only for us to be able to make sure that you are fully protected as much as possible, filling in all the gaps that you might need, but it could be a great referral source. So not only are you protecting yourself, but now you're introducing some professionals that perhaps we can work together to help impact other people's lives as well.
That's cool. I like that a lot. That's something, man, I don't even know if my CPA knows my insurance agents.
Right. So how can
Huh.
we make sure that you're
That's
properly
huge.
protected if I don't know what the other professionals are offering you or what you might have in place? And we kind of speak our own language. So you may not always know the terminology that we're using in the insurance world. And if Benjamin and I jumped on a call together, we might have a conversation and utilize some terms that aren't familiar to you, but letting us focus on how we can best serve you as our client is key.
That makes me wonder why there aren't that many like full service agencies that do health and business and all the
Well,
insurances. Usually they're all
I was going to
specialized.
say maybe not to, like the smaller and mid-sized market, but obviously there are for the higher end market, which typically are called family offices. They will have all of those professionals under one
Right.
roof. But if you don't qualify for that, then build out your own team. It's super easy for you to do. It doesn't cost you any money. And then you're helping your professionals as well. So something that you could easily put together, just having them jump on a Zoom call, inviting them to it. And if they don't show up, well, that's on them for their business. But if they're wanting to protect you and you are their client, then just reach out to them and ask them to jump on a call. Let's do a professional Zoom with everybody, introduce the team, and let's make sure that you are protected with everything that is potentially available for you.
Awesome. I love it. Angela, where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
It didn't start early. I come from very humble beginnings and I needed to research a lot to figure out about money, insurance, and real estate. So for me, when I was sitting down with clients and asking them questions, I find that they just don't know what they don't know, right? And so a true professional will bring all of the options to the table to you. They will show you everything that is available in my world. I'll show you all the different types of business insurance, not just liability, but maybe we're talking workers' comp, cyber. There's so many options that could be available to you, and then you get to choose what's best for you. So I found that pretty early on to make sure that I'm protected because, like you, we're growing a business, right? We spend a lot of time and energy on this, and so we want to make sure that we're properly protected.
I love it. Thank you so much, Angela. We're going to move on to our next guest and we'll bring it back out later. Next up, we have Kevin. Hey, Kevin, tell me, who are you?
My name's Kevin. I am in South Central Pennsylvania today, where we're getting quite a winter storm, so I apologize for the laggy video. But I am a business coach, former pastor here, and so I work with business clients from all over. I'm actually working with some clients over in Africa as well right now, so kind of global in my mission to help people to improve, whatever it is they're looking to improve when it comes to business, or I actually specialize in some ministry type stuff as well.
Very cool, very cool. Well, Kevin, I have a question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
If I wanted to improve my financial health with insurance, what piece of advice would you give me?
Yeah, so my answer is going to be based around health insurance specifically, but my advice would be to ask better questions. With what? What does that mean? I'm kind of an anti-conformist. I really believe there's a biblical precedent for this. It's Romans 12:2. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And so it really begs a new question. And so, this kind of leads into the third question that you're going to ask me. Why did this become? We became a health sharing network, 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
go, but you're literally sharing medical bills that other people are experiencing. And it's been revolutionizing for us. And literally the reason why we stepped into it was because health insurance became too expensive for us. I couldn't afford to insure my family with health insurance. And, I wasn't part of a place where health insurance was offered at a company level. And so it priced us right out of the market, from a perspective of like co-insurance and a deductible. I literally could have health insurance but not have a house. I mean, how can you handle that? And so it led us to asking, is there a better solution out there for someone in our situation? And we found medical sharing networks was the answer to that ticket. And it really has changed everything about us financially and medically.
All right, we're going to have to ask, what exactly is medical health share?
Yeah, medical
Tell me
share.
more about what that is.
Yeah, so it's what it is instead of you paying a premium to a health insurance company for them to cover you in the event of a medical emergency, you become a self-pay customer. And so you negotiate directly with the person that's providing your medical care. And so you're going to get a discount right off of that. I can't tell, every time I go to a hospital, a doctor, whatever, I tell them, hey, I'm a self-pay customer. What discounts can you provide? And you wouldn't believe, 20, 30%, they're knocking right off the top just by you being a self-pay customer. And then beyond that, you're then extending the cost of those medical services among a group of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are then going to help you pay those medical bills. There's never been a time that we've had a catastrophic medical situation where our entire bill has not been covered. And that doesn't happen in health insurance. I'm talking about like no deductibles, no co-insurance, nothing. You're paying a premium and then someone else or a group of people is then sharing your costs. And at the same time, like my premium, instead of me paying a premium to a company, I'm literally sending a portion of money to another individual to share their bill as well.
Fascinating. Okay, very cool. Awesome, Kevin. Where did you learn about that? How did you learn about? When did you get involved into this share bill thing?
Yeah, so we've always had some medical trauma. My wife has some chronic medical issues, and it just became a thing where, every year we're maxing out our deductible, we're maxing out our co-insurance, and you can't do that for too many years before it becomes really catastrophically trouble. So we started looking, is there a better solution? Is there a better scenario? And this is what we encountered. And so what does it look like? It looks like a little bit bigger premium on a yearly basis or a monthly basis. But the flip side of that is it's nothing else, where everything else is covered. So it literally got us through a time when we couldn't afford this. So we got to look for a different solution.
Fascinating. All right, Kevin, thank you so much. We're going to bring everyone back out here for the round robin. Real quick, I am going to go over one option that hasn't really been mentioned yet. It's kind of similar to Kevin's, but they do have nowadays kind of trending in America's direct pay healthcare. So there's companies with doctors and pharmacies attached where you pay a monthly premium. One that I know is called PeakMed. I think they have like 20 national locations, and it's like $80 a month, and they cover 95% of your healthcare. So those I think are kind of trending. We'll see how the health insurance industry is in the next 4 or 5 years. Could be a big shakeup, but if you're interested in direct pay or share, check out Kevin, or feel free to ask me questions outside of this. All right, let's bring everyone out for the round robin. Audience, now is a great time to ask questions. If you have them, feel free to ask away. Otherwise, we will start with Ben. Can you quickly refresh what your tip was?
Yeah, definitely. Using some PPO health insurance, private plans to protect your house, your cars, your business, whatever you have that you value and wouldn't want to lose in medical bankruptcy. Health insurance is the only of the options that has this fiduciary responsibility to actually cover your bills. Everyone else wants to, but they're the only ones by law that have to.
Okay. Only ones by law that have to. Angela, what are your thoughts on Ben's tip?
Yeah, I definitely don't really understand a lot of what he's talking about. So like I said, building out a professional team, putting us all on a call together, then we become resources for each other. And Ben has the opportunity now to teach me what he's teaching his clients. So I love that information, Benjamin. Thanks for sharing.
Happy to.
Kevin, what are your thoughts on Ben's tip?
This idea, someone told me the quote, your net becomes your net worth, and like that, it's like Ben that can coach you into something that you've never thought of before. Is then like we end up thinking what we have no clue what we need to know, especially about something as. And so, man, I think you should have conversations with everybody regarding that kind of thing, because you obviously know some things that we don't. Teach us, man.
Happy to.
Love it. Angela, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Yeah, so I just briefly said it, building out your professional team. You have a bunch of professionals that are working for you on your behalf, especially as a business owner. Jump on a Zoom, have us all get together and make sure that there's nothing that we are overlapping, which could save you some money, making sure that you don't have some gaps, which could make sure that you are protected for anything in the future that could happen. But put us together. It doesn't cost you any money, and it could be 30 minutes of your time that could save you potentially a lot of money now and in the future.
I love it. Kevin, what are your thoughts on Angela's tip?
Man, I don't think that there's enough about that idea of have a conversation with a professional, someone who just knows. I experienced that about a year and a half ago. My insurance company, we need to just, and he literally figured out a huge in it that was like, dude, like right here, and it dropped vulnerable, and then we were able to fix it. And I can't advocate for something like that enough. That's really important.
I love it. I think that's great. Some advice I should take. Ben, what are your thoughts on Angela's
Oh,
tip?
she nailed it. Anytime you can get a group of professionals in a team setting working for your benefit, you're going to see, and it always costs a little bit of money, right? But you're going to see the returns that are going to be worth so much more than the price you pay out for their services. You are compressing time when you have professionals working on everything for you. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's what they're paid to do.
And I'll piggyback on that a little bit. Angela did say something about, if one of your team can't make the Zoom or whatever, I'm just going to say that's probably not the right person to have on your team. My professional team, if I call them right now instead of get on Zoom, they probably all would, and it would be a smart thing that I may be considering highly. But, my CPA, if I call, he answers. My attorneys, everyone is ready to go. So if they just say that they can't Zoom with your insurance agent, I don't know. That seems like you might need a new person on a professional team. Kevin, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Time for from a different angle, a new perspective. I think is it the best to get what you need, or is there something that you experienced explored before?
I love it. Angela, what are your thoughts on Kevin's tip?
Yeah, it's always good to get more information. So I definitely think that's a great tip as well.
Ben, your thoughts on Kevin's tip?
Oh, yeah. Always be open to new ideas and new ways of doing things. Necessity is the mother of invention. And like he said, health insurance gets expensive, and the deductibles and the max out of pocket, all these things get expensive. So there needed to be a product that bridges the gap between what we need and affordability. And those health share plans have done quite an amazing job there in that space.
I love it. Okay, let's ask Ben directly. One question here. What are your thoughts on Kevin's type of healthcare?
So the only thing you need to watch out for, and this came from personal experience, a lady in the Nashville, Tennessee area. She called ahead of time, says, "I'm getting this surgery done, and I want to make sure you guys are going to be able to pay it." This Christian, I think she called it a Christian health share. I forget what it was called, but that's something like that. And they said, "Yeah, go ahead and get it, and then just send us the bill." And so she did. She negotiated the bill down. It got down to $130,000, and they got the bill and said, "Yeah, we're not going to cover that." And because they don't have a fiduciary responsibility, she has a $130,000 medical bill that her Christian health thing didn't cover. And so we had to find out a way to use insurance, because insurance is the only ones that have to cover anything. Health shares are great, but they don't have that fiduciary responsibility that insurance companies absolutely have to pay for things that they said they were going to pay for when you signed up. And health share, they have a great idea. Let's take everybody's contributions, put that in one pile, take everybody's bills, put that in another pile, and pay as many of those bills with the contributions as we can. And if there's, I mean, with medical bills being what they are, I can't imagine there's ever going to be quite enough to cover all those from the contributions. And so they have to pick and choose who they're going to cover. And so it just comes down to, it's a great idea, but there's a reason that health insurance companies don't even cover every bill. They wouldn't make any money. There's just not enough money to cover. So people have to have a good amount of skin in the game in order to make it all work in our current system, which needs to be fixed. But I mean, it is a good product for what it does.
All right, we got a question from the audience. This is a good one we're going to ask. How can someone determine if they are underinsured or overinsured?
Ooh.
Good question.
Well, I'll tell you what, underinsured is when the insurance company has a limit to how much they'll pay per year on anything. You want something that's going to be unlimited, so that that there's a certain point when they start paying for everything and they just keep paying no matter how big the bill gets. So you're responsible for the first part. Okay, and that might be expensive. But will they pay for the rest, all of it? Or do they come to a spot where they're like, you know what, after $300,000, that's it, we can't do anymore? That's okay. Just knowing that ahead of time, if it's over 300,000 or 500,000 or whatever their limit is, you're going to be picking up the tab. Also, that part where you've got to pay the first part, you want to make sure that that's going to be affordable for you. The healthier your savings account, the more you can pay up front. But if the savings account's not real healthy right now, make sure that they're paying more of the upfront stuff. All right. So you just have to look at what they're willing to pay and not pay. And that's where an insurance agent comes in, because we've read those huge long pages of legalese BS that you don't have time to read. So we know where the holes in their coverage are and how to plug them with various different little policies. That way you've got coverage for 360 degrees all the way around.
Yes, and from a business owner perspective, how the best way for you to determine if you're underinsured is to look at your exemptions page. Look at what is excluded from your policy and determine whether or not for your own business, do you need that coverage? Now, a true professional would have gone over that with you, but not everybody out there reads their insurance policies. So making sure that you look at those exemptions is key for the underinsured part.
All right, another question from the audience here. We've got, since the insurance industry has changed in the last decade, what trends should people be aware of?
Austin, you nailed it already. Those concierge services where you pay a monthly fee and they take care of the vast majority of your costs, that has been a game changer. I like that quite a bit.
I agree. I've never had health insurance in my life outside of a couple months of paying direct pay, because they pay monthly. So it's like $100 to go take care of everything and then cancel it the next month and you don't renew. But I also haven't had that. They don't have that down on my little island. I don't even know if they have health insurance. Anyone want to do some health insurance down here? I don't know what they got down here.
Send me your address. I'm heading down today.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's needed. I know for a fact it's needed. I've sent you a couple people, Ben. Yeah. What other trends are there? Let's talk about commercial insurance, Angela. What trends in commercial insurance have you been seeing, especially with COVID and office spaces going down, all sorts of stuff? What's going on there?
Yeah, those were going to be the two big things. I mean, previously there was nothing written into insurance policies to cover or not cover something like COVID, right? A disease that was so widespread. Now you definitely see that in commercial insurance, where if you have a workers' comp policy that's covering your employees, then COVID is likely not covered under that policy. It'll be an exemption. And then if you are purchasing a building, for example, I recently insured a warehouse and it was empty. And so if it's vacant or occupied, those are two different policies. So if you have any change in your business or in your commercial property, you've got to let your insurance professional know, because we've got to change it. Otherwise, if you have a claim, you might not be able to get reimbursed or have that claim covered if you didn't notify us of that change.
Valid points. Valid points. Anything else you guys want to answer on that? Fantastic. All right, well, it's time for us to come up with our daily challenge here. We need to come up with a task or series of tasks. Shit, we got one more. This is a good one. Let's ask it. All right. Is it ever a good idea to self-insure instead of buying traditional insurance policies? When and where can that help?
When you are very, very young, this is health insurance specific. If you're very young, under 30, your family history has 0 chronic illnesses, and you don't do anything crazy like drive over the speed limit. In fact, you don't drive at all because drunk drivers can hit you, right? Then you can get away with, an accident only plan for a while. And if you don't have a family right now that depends on your income, you don't own a house, maybe you lease your car, nothing can be taken away from you. So you might not need the financial tool right now, but you could still rack up serious debt. So be careful. Self-insuring is okay if you've got a massive bank account or you have nothing to lose right now.
Sure.
That was going to
Those-
You have to weigh into like, what are you trying?
Yeah.
Family. I'm trying to protect my family and state. Got it. It would be really foolish self-insuring what could come.
Agreed. Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, I would say it's not ever a good idea unless you really truly have a large bank account that is your insurance policy, where it's sitting there, it's ready should you need it, should you have a claim, should you have someone sue you. There's so many things that could happen in your business world and in your personal world that crosses over. So I would never recommend to self-insure.
Yeah. 100%.
Does someone want to define what self-insure is?
You don't have an insurance policy, you pay for when things go wrong. So a person who self-insures their house gets hit by a hurricane here near Daytona Beach, they're paying for their damages, all of them. No insurance company's even involved.
So
And
in
with
order
the
to
way
do that
rates
for home
are,
insurance, you'd have to own the home outright, correct? I don't know any
Correct.
mortgages
Yep.
that allow you to
Yep.
not have insurance.
Yeah. And with as expensive things can get in health insurance, you want to have $500,000 to $1 million set aside in an account that does nothing except cover massive health bills, massive medical bills. That's all it would be there for.
Fantastic. All right, let's go to our daily challenge here. We must come up with a task or series of tasks that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to anyone in the world from South Africa to North Korea. What ideas do you guys have?
Do you guys ever go on a health insurance company's website to see what doctors are in network? They all offer it for free. And so if you don't know what doctor to go to, you can check multiple health insurance companies' websites for whatever postal code you happen to be in at the time. I'm thinking mostly in the United States right now, but you can do this overseas. See what insurance companies recommend for doctors. If they all have the same doctor in network, that means that guy's willing to take whatever he can get from any insurance company. He's probably going to take a really low price for you. So that's the best way to find a cheap doctor that I can think of. Anywhere you are.
Okay.
And
So that would
Austin,
take one day. What else we got?
are you asking all of us, Austin?
Oh, yeah. Everyone.
Okay, so my tip is pretty simple, super boring, but really important. I want you to print out all of your insurance policies. So since we've got health insurance here as well, print them out. Take one page, read it one day. Look specifically at your coverages, then move to your exemptions, And then if you're feeling like you really want to learn more about insurance, you can read the rest of the policy because a lot of it is just terminology and explanations of what those terms are. But your coverages and exclusions are most important. So start there. But really take one page, highlight it. Maybe you've got some questions. Now when you jump on your professional build out Zoom with all of your professionals, you can ask everyone the questions that you have written down from reading those documents.
Man, I think that's big. Yeah, read one page of an insurance document. It can be your health insurance, your car insurance, your home insurance, your business insurance, any insurance that you have. Print off the 7,480 pages and just read one per day.
Then recycle the paper, please.
Yeah.
Recycle the paper. All right, that's a great tip. That could actually take all 5 minutes a day. Do you guys want to add a tiny bit something else? Maybe 30 seconds a minute, another task?
I found that reading health insurance documents is a great cure for insomnia too.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So let's go over Benzin. So I guess, another thing we could do is try to get a new quote for an insurance each day. I mean, that doesn't take too long, right?
Be careful doing that online because they want you to put in your email and your phone number. And if you do that, your phone is going to ring off the hook for 3 months straight.
Well, hopefully they would call. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can do that, but you could also just call an agent. I mean, we know tons of them on this show. But I mean, yeah. I'm sure in your network, every friend group has a health insurance or life insurance or some sort of insurance person.
Yeah.
So they can go do that.
I think the tip that I is coincides with a quote that I do. Quote is what you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We take what we thinking that have it that know anything about just and know to use it. It would be to get to know what you have, and then I would add to this is filter through your values. Like, who are you as a person? What do you want to accomplish 10 years? And then what's missing? That what and so instead of just reacting through life, let's start getting proactive about where to go. What's going to when it comes to an insurance?
Yeah, that's huge. Awesome. Well, I love that. Great tip. All right, guys. Well, I think we're all done. We got our daily challenge. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And hopefully everyone is now following you on Instagram and Facebook and learning more about insurance. We've got an awesome daily challenge here. Print off one of your insurance policies and read one page a day, as well as get a new quote. So if you have life insurance, go check it out. See where you got health insurance, call Ben. Commercial insurance, call Angela. If you need some more tips, talk to Kevin. Go follow everyone, but let's get a new quote and read one page every day.